Well, good morning, friends. I'm Pastor Michelle, and I just wanted to offer up a few words about pride. Today is Sunday, June 27th, I believe. Let me look at my calendar. I'm really bad at remembering. Yeah, June 28th. Okay, I was close. But today we are having our Pride brunch, and this was a community thing. We're not having a traditional worship service, hence why I'm in my rainbow suit today. I like to be completely rainbow it up. And I will say this morning I went and prayed for the youth because they left today for BYC for camp. And some of the youth asked me, "Do you just roll out of bed looking like that?" And I'm like, yeah, with my rainbow fruit striped gum suit. That's what it reminds me of. But prayers for our youth as they go to BYC. But going back to this, I wanted to just invite us into reflection about what pride means. And one of the things that we're doing at the brunch is inviting people to be in conversation with one another around the tables. And so, and I just like to say that pride is something I think that's often misunderstood. Because for some, it's all about the parade. It's all about the celebration. For others, it's about survival. For some, it's joy after years of shame, after years of being in the closet. For others, it's standing beside someone they love and saying, you don't have to stand alone. So today, pride is not about having all the right answers. It's about listening with open hearts. We don't have to agree on every experience, but we can honor every person's humanity, which I think at the end of the day is what we're called to do. And so I just want to offer up some of these questions so you can think about these yourself. And if you want to reply to this video, you can. But I wonder when you hear the word pride for yourself, what comes to mind? What does pride mean to you today? Even thinking about authenticity. When have you felt most free to simply be yourself? And that's what I hope for at Harmony always. I want people to feel free to be their selves. Because I certainly feel that way. I feel like Harmony has done a really good job of welcoming me and welcoming all of me. Have you ever felt, though, like your love or your identity needed someone else's approval before it could be celebrated? And what makes you feel safe to be your most authentic self? And how has your faith helped you embrace who you are? And what gives you hope? What gives you hope for the future of the church? What gives you hope for the future of the world? And perhaps I feel most loved when what? I feel like I belong when. And I think those are questions to just reflect on. And thinking about hope, I will say this. So I went and saw, Jessica and I went and saw Supergirl on Friday, opening night. And the movie was good. It was no Superman. But there was a scene in the movie, though, that really spoke to me. And I'm going to talk more about this in an upcoming sermon. But so one of the characters in the movie, her name was Ruth, and her family was killed, and so Supergirl was helping her. But there's a scene where Ruth is watching as Supergirl destroys all the bad guys, so to speak, right? And Ruth is Ruth is kind of in this bubble kind of thing and being protected. And as Supergirl is saving the day in the background, just knocking out all the bad guys, the song, The Middle, I think, by Jimmy Eat World, I think that they originally sang it. But there was a remake or like a more folksy version of The Middle. And that song played as Supergirl was doing all that stuff. And it was a slow version. It was, everything's gonna be all right, all right. And it was a slow version of that song. And I got to thinking about my faith and how at the end of the day, no matter how much stuff is going on in our background, no matter how much stuff is going on in our lives, I do hold fast to the faith that somehow, some way, I have no idea how exactly sometimes, but somehow everything's going to be all right. And there's another line in that song, something about being in the middle of the ride. And we are all in the middle of the ride, right? We're all in the middle of this ride called life. We don't know the future, right? We don't know what's going to happen. But somehow, some way, everything's going to be all right. And I think of that. And that gives me hope. And I will close with this. At Harmony Creek Church, I'm so grateful to be the pastor here. Because at this church, we believe every person reflects the very image of God. Every story matters. Every table has room for one more. Every life is worthy of celebration. So my hope is this, that we continue to be a church, a people where love is never conditional, where authenticity is welcomed, and where everyone can find a place to call home. So my friends, happy Pride. And thank you to all of you who make this community where love truly is something to celebrate. Because as writer Rob Bell reminds us, at the end of the day, everything's going to be all right because love wins. So God bless you, and may you know that you are God's beloved through and through.